Wow, huge delay as the signal flare goes up. I don't know if we got a dud or not, but we're coming to life here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, where there's broken glass everywhere. People pissing in the stairs, they just don't care. I can't take the smell. I can't take the noise. Got no money to move out. I guess I got no choice. Rats in the front room. Stooges in the back. Big Russo's in the alley with the baseball bat, infidels, and we're swinging away here this morning on your Ultra Kayfabe Declassified Friday Locker Room Thursday recording official at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman infidels. We'll get through it. Yalla! I tried to get away, but I couldn't get far because a man with a tow truck repossessed my car. Don't push me, Stevie. I'm close to the edge.
Yeah, good afternoon. How's that?
Yeah.
Feels like afternoon, doesn't it?
Yeah, dude. Already been putting in, 9 a.m.? Put in 4 hours already, bro. Crazy times, and it's going to be 96 degrees here. A balmy 96 in upstate New York, and, dude, it was brutal yesterday, just sweat pouring off me. It finally blasted rain for like 10 minutes at 4 o'clock and alleviated some of the pressure, but it built right back up, and today's going to be another summer scorcher, DCW.
Yeah, 98. It's actually warmer in Rome, New York than it is here in the Atlanta area. That's pretty weird. I mean, the Northeast hits that point sometime during the summer.
We always get a blazer, and it's usually about now.
Yeah. It's, and that's the thing. Thank God it's not that hot down here because things are already very stressful. Another, a bunch of shootings over the weekend. I don't know if you get that sort of thing. Probably not with people that are armed.
No, and the city, Rome's small. It's only 40,000 people, so we'll have a random hood shooting once in a while, like maybe once a year, but it's usually a crime of passion, a husband killing a wife over something, which could happen under, all this lockdown, I'm sure more frequently and things like that. But, nobody, there's no way you're getting away with anything because it's still so small. Everybody can stooge on everybody here. But that heat in the city just drives the madness, man. I know when it gets killing old people hot out, that people just come out of the woodwork and they kind of go crazy. And I know they call it Hot Atlanta for a reason, man. I know the block is hot right now.
Well, we don't necessarily have to worry about it here in Smyrna, which is a little bit, far. It's kind of the city now because you know how everything expands, real estate and room and land runs out. So the city's ever expanding. But somebody like Russo's nephew, which, he's a little closer to the action, we found out, it's just crazy. So I don't know. It just seems like we talked a little bit off air before we started recording that, obviously the human reaction is, my God, they're shooting 8-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 14-year-olds. They're shooting families just as they walk by. I'm checking, or my wife is checking at 9 a.m. because a guy who's my chiropractor here and a friend of mine, the guy by hopefully the same name, but it's still a tragedy, got shot and killed in a drive-by, helping someone else who was broken down in the gas station. So you're helping somebody and someone indiscriminately just drives by, no issue, no nothing, much like we talked about on the Horseman, and just opens up. But you brought something up, a different thing I didn't think about, and I really do think that might be the case.
Yeah, these things could be not controlled opposition, but what's the Alex Jones term for it? That it's similar to that.
Is it a MyHop or a LIHOP?
Well, it's a made it happen on purpose event because I believe, as I've seen the CIA running guns in Chicago before, all you got to do is get with the right young crew who wants to make a name for themselves, supply them with some Glocks or techs or whatever the fuck, and a half ounce of cocaine and set them free to make things go crazy. Problem, reaction, solution. To enact martial law, to have civil war, to have vigilante groups and people saying enough is enough, to have people who are already close to the edge trying to not to lose their head. It's like a jungle sometimes. It makes me wonder how we keep from going under, and that is it. And if you have that in every major city already, and they're trying to pull those triggers on people, and you only need one dumb little motherfucker to do it on the powder keg and light that fuse, I definitely believe that those who want it because, as we talked last night with Ghislaine Maxwell, Clinton, Kill List, all that shit, they're going to want that as a distraction scenario from them being named and taken out of power on a major witch hunt as well. They win from that, and they're going to win from the militarization and gun grab and lockdown and all that kind of shit, dude. They're hedged all their bets and their dividends, so when the society needs to shift, they will further make a profit. They will further be in control. And unless we really do, it's going to get to that point of facing down SWAT team members to like really get the witch hunt of the elites out of there who are being named in these things, who need to be completely wiped from our history. If you want to talk about a new normal or a new chapter, like, is it going to be, we're coming to a Y in the road. You and I usually know which way it's going to go, but which path will be the overthrow of the world dominators of the last 500 years of royal family nepotism and religion and industry and secret societies? Or will it be a set-up civil war where it's made to ensure their power goes forward into a new dystopian future with all the agendas that they have? Either way, it's got to be some Robin Hood shit. You know what I mean? Rob from the rich, give to the poor. Or it's going to be, you're not going to do business here unless you get chipped. That's the different two roads pretty much at this point. It's got to be the system, they want to make us play by rules. Fuck your rules, we're going around them all. Or it's the empire is being created Star Wars wise and everyone will step in line.
It's pretty fascinating to me because, meaning I just, sometimes it makes my head spin that how are we engineered or created, or what has been instilled in us or conditioned or groomed or whatever you want to call it, to not unify, but always have to pick a side. Like you just talked about Civil War. Civil War is super easy to do because all you got to do is say, you're on this side, you're on that side. You know, we pretty much have had, the violence has ticked up, but we've had essentially a culture war, a civil war, whatever you want to call it. There's always been two opposing sides. And then I think guys and girls like us in the middle that are just like, you're both being worked. Why can't you just do your own thing? I think at the core, because I asked last night, say we take down all these people, the Clintons, even Trump or Biden or all these other people. I mean, there's no baby face. Everybody here is corrupt to some degree. Most are corrupt to a great degree, but everybody's pretty corrupt in Washington. The power, you talk about the Vatican, you talk about the Illuminati, corporate America. There's no Tony Starks out there with a moment of consciousness to say, I want to make the world a better place. I'm going to stop selling weapons.
You think Elon Musk might have been that guy, but that's bullshit.
You were hoping after the Rogan episode, the first one, then all of a sudden he's drilling holes in people's heads and putting Neuralinks in. Elon Musk could be the, for what they say in the Bible is the Antichrist, the guy he could appear to save the world. But those 69 satellites are Project Insight from Captain America Winter Soldier, and they're pointing the guns saying we can kill 10 million bad guys like in an instant, and then the world's a safer place. Pre-crime, same thing, Minority Report. But again, back to the other thing is, when say they all go down, well, two things could happen. The thing that we could have is like an Iraq situation with a vacuum, which it was a mini version, was done in CHOP. And then someone 10 times worse takes over, a warlord or some kind of militia type
Now
figure.
you're talking the postman, Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Or what we're going to do is we're going to be because that's just the fascinating part, how we're wired or engineered, created, what's in our DNA or our frequency or whatever it might be. We always need to have someone to tell us what to do. We don't, you and I don't, because we wake up every morning and have to get it done because we're independent. Independent contractors should be a thing that they teach in schools. If you want to think and do stuff for yourself, you should do that. But just to close it up, it's just amazing that if we do reach a point of a great reset and we have that opportunity to have higher level consciousness, maybe to have a new age of everything. Maybe this is an opportunity for everybody to look at things differently. We still will say Biden or Trump. or Pelosi or Schumer or AOC or Rand Paul, or we're putting our lives in other people's hands because we're too fucking lazy to put it in our own. Does that make any sense?
It makes 100% sense, bro. Like, you want to stick to the, pretty idea of democracy and not have to get your hands dirty or bloody with the blood of tyrants and martyrs, right? To refresh the tree of democracy once in a while. And that doesn't mean doing drive-by shootings. That's not refreshing the blood of democracy. The Civil War part is tough for me to swallow because I try and envision what it looks like because what we were taught, and I'm sure there's plenty of way cool, documentaries that could be done on the spies of the Civil War back and forth. But that at least there was a Mason-Dixon line, North versus South. Now you're going to have mini civil wars in each state with outside, antagonists, coming in to fire those things up, paid by Soros. And then what does that look like? Because you can say it's divided red or blue, whatever, race, but I don't see like that anybody putting together militias except to fight blue or military, in a lockdown scenario. I don't see how it's going to go aside from targeted assassinations on the other road and court and actually making court viable again, and they can't buy their way out, like those are the only two roads. If it's coming to blows and serious bullets, it's ex-military, local good old boys and whatnot trying to storm the governor's castle in each fucking state to take over where there's a problem. I'm sure Wyoming and that shit will never deal with it. But whether it's Cuomo in New York or, in Kentucky, that shit will happen. And when that happens, that's when your SWAT and military get activated. Then it's draw the lines. I've been to the Kentucky Machine Gun Show. I know what the fuck they got down there. And it could get real fucking serious, real fucking quick if them boys roll out in four-wheelers strapped with what the fuck I saw they're carrying down there, bro. I talk 308, we talk Glock, talk 870. That ain't fuck all, dude. I mean, these are guys who are strapped with 50 cal helicopter, those fucking chain gun helicopter fucking gimmicks. Mini
gun, but
that
yeah, the one that Jesse had.
That shit, bro. I seen 15 of them down there. When it goes down at the governor's mansion, it'll be against SWAT and fucking that kind of shit, bro. But maybe they'll unleash 5G and fry them from 500 fucking yards before they even.
Yeah, the millimeter waves that they used in Iraq and probably Afghanistan to take away the will of the enemy could easily be used. And if it's repeated every 3 houses, when someone is out there protesting that they don't want protesting, turn it on and they'll feel that burn. Not the burn of Steve Richards Fitness, but a different kind of burn. I think it's going to play out differently. I think what we're going to have is dystopian within the cities. And then when you go up to where we're hoping to be in the Georgia mountains or Tennessee mountains or Smoky Mountains, somewhere like that, you're going to have much more normalcy. Every time we go up there, it's like they know it's happening, but they're also like, yeah, I got a lot of ammo I haven't used in a while. I think, yeah, come on up. They'll never go up there because they're essentially, these people are bullies. They're bullies. They're not going to go up. They haven't gone into any neighborhoods out of, let's say, Marietta or other places where they know everybody is armed. And I have a friend who lives in one of the subdivisions of Marietta. He said they have meetings. Like, how are we going to defend it? Like, they're strategizing everything. They got to know if we go outside just this little pocket where everybody is so woke or everybody's going to let us do whatever, and we're going to get pushed back to the point of get the fuck out of our neighborhood. Even when 2 people in St. Louis,
that worked out at Ruby Ridge for them. Not too good.
Well, here's the thing. The people in St. Louis, this is the double speak and double think that you talk about all the time. Because then people sit there and go, oh my God, this doesn't make any sense. The 2 people that defended their property after they busted a gate down in a private community that supposedly peaceful protesters where you can audibly hear them saying, we're going to come in there, we're going to kill your dog, we're going to kill you. And the news is saying they were peaceful, and the DA in St. Louis is charging the couple with terrorizing the protesters. That cannot be by accident. That is double speak, double think. That is designed to make normal people go, I'm out, and they don't pay attention, or they pull out guns.
That's why I say, why do you
civil war?
They still want you to play by their rules, their IRS rules, their tax rules, right. Meanwhile, they're doing that shit to set shit off.
Mm-hmm.
So that's I really feel within the next 6 weeks, you're at the Y of the creek right now. Which way is it going to go, or the Y of the roads here? And it'll be very telling, because once you head down one way, you can't have it the other way. You know,
the one side thinks you can, because it's really just cosplay. They're really just that. They think they're at a big Comic-Con, but then they run into people like you and the people in your neighborhood, and cosplay's over. You know what I mean? Just like a Bronx Tale. Now you can't leave.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like if it was to come down to that in some dystopian future, and it all sounds like fantasy pipe dreams, I don't want to kill human beings, but like, you know, if it was to that Red Dawn level, I relate to that movie. So like, that's every kid's fantasy from where I fucking grew up, because everybody who lives in town has a camp up 20 miles out. And they know that fucking area, the acres they hunt, the 2 to 1,200 acres that you hunt, 200 to 1,200. It's our playground. Like, I know specific trees, monuments, rock piles, deep in the woods, deep. So what, are you going to come fucking find me and think like your first time walking through there, like you're going to be able to, there he goes, or there he is, where I got tree stands fucking set up Rambo style to fucking, you wouldn't even hear a gunshot right through, fucking arrow right through you, bro. Like, you know, and not even know where it comes from. Like, there's no way they could ever combat that without doing a napalm drone strike, scorched earth on where they think we are based on heat signal and satellite. Like, that's how they'd have to combat it. You know what I mean? Never could it be some fucking cosplay dudes coming through in the SWAT team thinking they're going to fucking use GPS through the goddamn deep woods of the Adirondacks and think you're going to find somebody. I could be standing 20 yards away from you behind a fucking 36-inch pine tree, and you walk right by me, and then from behind you get it. You know?
Well, if it was wrestling, I would know, because your music would hit.
That's
true. Oh, he's here.
It'd be like, just go out in the woods, go, y'all, you pussy. I see you, fat bitch. Y'all. And then I'd probably start fucking crying, and then you could just shoot me. But yeah, man, if you haven't watched Red Dawn, I haven't watched the remake, but definitely a good get.
I can't wait for them to cancel that movie.
Yeah, right.
It's coming.
Yeah,
it's coming. This is why, for anybody that's listening or watching in the chat room right now, this is why, like, after we do the Raw SmackDown review, Master Shoot Theater, we are absolutely exhausted after 5 hours of wrestling that means dog shit in the scope of the real world. Where they, you know, if they would embrace that, I know the headlines are coming, but if they would embrace some of this, at least we would feel like there'd be a better flow to our week, and we'd be able to, there'd be some connection. It's not even an escape. That's the thing about wrestling or other things, even football. I told you I'm probably not going to watch football this year.
Yeah.
Because there's no suspension of disbelief as far as, and there's no escape from reality for me to just enjoy a football game anymore. That's the powers that be won't allow it.
No.
I think that's the thing about bread and circuses. They've already taken the food away with the supply chain and limited that everywhere you go indiscriminately. And now, like, if you do enjoy wrestling, I guess you better watch it now, because they could pull the plug on that real quick, or they could make it to where they put in their politics into the show, much like the NFL, the NBA. I don't know what the NHL and the MLB are doing, but to be able to have to make you think about all this stuff where it's 24/7, you can't even look at a football game and think about football anymore. That's got to be a psyop to some degree too.
Oh, absolutely, bro. I mean, the whole NFL's a psyop.
Well,
look at the money
like
that
sports
the military spends.
Too.
Yeah,
Keep teams against each other. That's what creates the Civil War.
Every one of those flyovers, that shit is $100,000 every time they do a fucking flyover, bro. I mean, all that's money in, money out for recruitment, all of it, dude. Absolutely. And football itself is a game of war, of strategy and to get people into the war mindset. But, I want to say shout out to the chat room here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, all of our bit cheers. I see you guys. Scott Smith, Fudge. I see all those 245 bits up there. Years a year, subscribing Reverend Smiley, Black Shreds, PMAC, J Hal, Texas Sooner, Jose Van Dam, Kaz, our editor in there, Society 858, Shoebox 503. Y'all, to all you, Justin French. Appreciate you guys, Big Evil Pops, joining us this morning here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman, 28 strong for the Friday locker room. So hopefully you guys are doing good and it's not popping off too crazy where you are. The heat's keeping me inside today, hopefully, and hopefully it doesn't fall down. There was some strange heat. I don't know. It's silent maybe on Hamin Media Group because I don't want them to come at us. I want everything to be good in this business, but I got reached out to by Tony Gunn because he wanted to clarify some things, and I pulled it from the conversation on the Monday locker room because of Billy Gunn and them asking to, well, not asking, but saying he can't use Gun Show anymore, but there was no cease and desist ever delivered, and I think Man Beast Man misspoke, but even later in the conversation we clarified that there wasn't, but that gets back to this one and that one. The sheets picked it up, and I don't ever want to fuck with Tony Gunn's money or his livelihood, and he was very cool to call me, and I was glad to pull that down so it doesn't make things harder for him, because that's a guy who's definitely should be on somebody's roster. But here we are. The heat rains down from the veterans, and I'm not trying to fuck up OVW in any way because that's my namesake and where I learned my craft. But I don't know the ins and outs of it, and I'm not trying to get any heat on Tony Gunn or anything like that. But I just don't like the fact that the excuses that his wife is giving, that Billy's wife put out there, and it's even still threatening. We've never issued a cease and desist, but if he keeps pushing this narrative, we're going to have to. Billy's worked 25 years to make his name and brand. Okay. Well, Tony's worked 15 years, and Gunn's his last real name. So why don't we do something that does business instead of the back and forth, big leaguing, bullying, da-da-da-da-da. And, dude, there can't be two fucking Smiths or Austins in the world. What the fuck? This is the stuff we're trying to get to end, where Al Snow is a fucking encyclopedia of wrestling knowledge that he's helped make tons of guys who are on TV that have been your favorites. And, a lot of people still don't know that. But then when we have these things that are wrestling's for everybody and it's the fucking new era. But when it comes to the old school guys' ways who are Hall of Famers or legend careers, they still get to dictate and step on guys who are under. And if you fucking dare go against them, well, fuck that. There goes your chance of getting a job at AEW, and I'll make one call to fucking Impact and make sure you're not working there. And then Gunn, who's got to live in the world, has to do the dance at OVW while he's their champ or whatever, and is probably making no money because it's OVW and everything's down right now. So even that there's no shows, this guy's still got to fucking do the dance. And I told him, I go, bro, I totally get it, and I'm not here to try and fuck your career up and make for downloads off of what happened with you, but I'm going to tell the story about what happens on my end. Absolutely. You know what I mean? And I hope they can come to a good creative solution where take the reality of this and say, this is so stupid and petty, but now let's at least get something out of it if people are watching and do business. But I don't think the level and seniority and worker of Al and Billy will do that. They'll act like they want to do that as owners and whatnot in front of the boys, but the reality is the phone call and the texts are going on behind the fucking scenes of what the fuck are these indie guys think they're fucking doing can say my name? Okay. All right, man. And it'll probably get my opportunity of just even having this conversation of being able to go back and work OVW on a, hey, Ben Hamin's here, one-off because of pettiness, of how dare you expose of what we were doing when we wanted to have one perception, but it was another one. Like, oh, okay. I mean, if that's how far they're going to take it, then point proven, I guess. You know what I mean?
Oops, there. I'm unmuted. I didn't want to cough while you were doing that.
It's all good.
What's the disconnect here as far as and I know I've brought it up before about the wasted energy here. What's the thought process in this world today where grown ass people like Billy's wife and Billy, whoever, Billy's wife did the tweets, and then Tony tweeted her back, and she's saying, call us. So to me, it's like, why didn't it just go to, in our words, why are you letting people that shouldn't be involved in your business knowing everything about your business? Talking about the mark, like we do all the, this is a personal business matter that you should be able to reach out to Tony. He's easy enough to find through Al. Call him or text him and say, hey, well, let's have a conversation. Agree to disagree, do whatever. Bully him there, do whatever you're going to do. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
The tweets are so passive aggressive and get little business done. Maybe I'm disconnected or just being one of the older guys, but I would think if I had an issue with somebody directly, I'm not going to throw out tweets and then check my timeline and see. I'm going to call her, I'm going to text or email. Russo does it. Russo doesn't tweet people. He emails them directly, right? Do you find anything a little strange about that? Or is that just trying to get the Twitter followers on your side, which doesn't mean anything legally anyway?
No, I think it's them. I think it's just the old boys club and how they do business, where we'll run
about the Twitter aspect of it, tweeting instead of, like, the old boys club would go up to you in the locker room and say, hey, stop it. Like get in your face and intimidate you, or the quiet heat, but you're buried. I'm talking about the Twitter. The really Twitter part of this is like high school shit. Just talk to the guy, or have Tony talk to Billy. Or
I just don't see why anybody doesn't want to get business done. Like, Billy's got 2 sons who nobody really knows, right? And they want to get him over. And Tony Gunn's a 15-year pro who's held the OVW title and carried the company. He's a body guy. He looks good. This reality thing's going. And why wouldn't you just do something at OVW to get them all over instead of trying to big league somebody? Like, that's the whole point. It's like, to me, the Twitter or what have you doesn't matter. It's like, come to OVW, follow your dreams. Then you stay in the OVW bubble for like 10 years and you're still making no money, and you got to dance because somebody from DX fucking doesn't like the fact that your real name is what their gimmick name is, and we're not going to sue because
his real name.
Yeah. And they're not going to do it because it's been established on TV. I think if you took it to court and down there, I think you would fucking probably lose. And that's where the big leaguing, I think, comes in. But why are we still doing that instead of just making the simple solution? Because now I'm sure this fucking dumb conversation over some wrestling bullshit will get put out there too. And I'm not here to fucking hurt Gunn, but I'm going to say what I see about what's going on. And if everyone wants a new day in wrestling, well, the old shit is still going to be pervasive. So you can fucking look this way, but what's really going on over here is fucking happening, dude.
I'm going to tell you how I would look at it. Now, the Twitter thing was just me saying, like, why isn't there a more direct conversation or communication going on?
Maybe there is.
She obviously put in there, call us, so it should have been done. And if it's done after that and they had a conversation, you see what I mean about the Twitter part. Here's what I would do. This is me being an older wrestler and looking at it, and Billy's in much better shape than me. He can still go. I'm not saying anything to that degree. But what I would see is Billy, much like Ole and Gene Anderson saw with Arn Anderson. Maybe you're not a brother, but you're a cousin as Gunn. Now, how can I'm talking about, now this is not the way the business works, because Billy or whoever would be like, I don't know this fucking guy, so he's not coming into my circle. But if I saw somebody that was using Richards, first I would say, is this, a decent person or whatever? I'd try to figure out or vet that way. But I'd be like, oh, this guy has something that can create another layer to my character that can help me get over. And actually, I don't have to kill my body as much.
Yeah.
There's all these different ways to look at it. Hey, there could be a thing where Billy brings him in as a cousin, and there's a jealousy aspect between his kid and the cousin.
Sure.
There's all these different creative
Tony
ways to go that
Tony
will
could
never
lead
get
that
done.
kid. Yeah. Tony could lead that kid, and I'm sure that kid's really good because Billy's a fucking awesome trainer. That was one of my, I mark out for, on Tough Enough or, what the fuck's that? Gut Check. When like the real business gets there when kids think they're over and Billy fucking shows them something like 15 times and they still don't get it just because they're being dumbasses and he flips out on them. Like, I love those moments. I think he's had some of the best ones like that on Tough Enough. So like they could show that kind of shit of training. I think the Tough Enough coaching aspect, if it was a creatively done that way, it just makes me sad more than anything that we're still having to do this when we've named 3 or 4 opportunities there and nobody's, are they really cashing in on that, and like to add it and put shine on it adds to the value. And it's just, I know that I'm probably going to get a call about this conversation.
Well, let's shift it a little bit because there's other business that hasn't gotten done. And this is near and dear to my heart too, because Luke and PJ Hawks, I'm very close to both of them. I'm very close to the Wildcat promotion. They were doing the father-son thing before Billy and Austin, but there's business that could be done there in AEW with the family feud type stuff, where you can actually get some of the Civil War type thing, the Hatfields and McCoys out on TV. And it's an opportunity. Once again, we're looking at from, I think AEW would have been the place that could have been different to say, let's do business and reach out to bring people in rather than stay out because we need it's protecting your spot once again. I'm not saying Billy's doing that, but I said the structure of AEW is not truly an open door thing. Let's bring in everybody we can that's the best. There's always going to be the politics. Luke, I'll get the call too. I might as well too get a call. Luke had to try to make his name at one time, wanted to work AJ, wanted to work Cody, wanted to work other people, and would challenge them on social media. Where when we worked way back in 2013 and Luke was doing these things, guess what I did? I reached out to Luke and I was like, hey, is there heat or whatever? He goes, no, man, I'm just trying to do business. Cool. Let's do business. That was easy as that. Cody and AJ both refused to work with him. AJ openly refused to work with Luke and would not work him. Number one, because he thought Luke was going to hurt him because he's saying all these bad things. Dude, it was so fucked up. This is before AJ went to WWE. Cody just ghosted him. When I look at it, you have a very, very intense heel who can talk and get heat, and he can get me over. That's the way I looked at it way back with Extreme Rising. That's probably held on to where PJ and Luke won't get an opportunity in AEW because you tweeted mean things at me and said you could beat me in a wrestling match. How old are we? How fucking old are we? That's exactly what's going on too. Am I right? And this could be another thing where Billy just doesn't like the way Tony Gunn looks. I just don't like this kid for some reason, so I ain't going to help him out. I'm not saying that Billy could be either a guy who's done a lot for me in the Right to Censor area and put me over a whole lot and helped me in a time when people wanted to see me fail. So
he's done it all. Billy and Chuck, Mr. Ass, fucking DX. There's no doubt that there's tons of value in the Gunn name in that brand.
Yeah. But I'm saying with Billy, and sometimes his rough exterior, sort of even after knowing him for 20 some years, kind of sets me back a little bit. But Billy has, from what I can see, a huge heart and wants to help and loves the business. He wouldn't be doing it in his mid-50s if he didn't love it. And he wouldn't be helping his son out by staying in the business to do that. If we get that Billy, I could see that he could really see everybody getting over, everybody getting longevity, and most importantly for somebody in their mid-50s, no matter how good they look, my body can be saved because I got two pieces that can help me do less and mean more.
And actually put a good reality, internet crossover light storyline on his kid and get it shining, man. I think so too. I don't see it going that way. We talk it out like we do everything creatively for the most positive end of it, but hopefully, Gunn, this don't get Tony Gunn, this don't get no more heat on you, and if so, apologies.
I don't see how we can get heat on him by just talking this out and saying that, this is the wrestling stuff too. And I was there. I get that way sometimes too. It's like every time we tell a truth on these shows, I think I said it last week, I still get a little nervous because I'm so institutionalized sometimes, and it creeps back up. Tony, I don't know the guy from anybody, but I'm assuming he doesn't have the outlet we have or the freedom we have in seeing the other side where we're actually making a living being ourselves and telling the truth and not bowing down to these people, waiting for the call.
That's where I wish that they would have shit caught up. And if people on the OVW roster were even motivated, they could have their own OVW network with these shows every day where this type of shoot stuff could be talked about, where they could be having him in studio, in-house, and da-da-da-da, like missed opportunities from being in the bubble. And, like I said, hopefully you can just feel it. I mean, that's the wrestling paranoia of it, of like, they're talking about it. He's never working here again. Okay, well, that hurts you more than it hurts me. Like that, the amount of people who can fucking hold things over my head, that list is shorter and shorter. It's been shorter and shorter especially the last 2-3 years. You know what I mean? Built my own thing. So I'm not.
People only knew.
Yeah, if they only knew what's going down, and maybe someday they will, and maybe someday they won't, and that's fine. And I'm not here to fucking put it in anybody's face. Everything I try and do is for good business for everybody. You know what I mean? And not to. I never want to fucking. Al Snow's been nothing but awesome to me, dude, and it's not for me to try and hurt him or his biz. But when business practices go down with Michael Hayes or Man Beast or fucking Tony Gunn like this, and the old ways just repeat themselves when it's claimed to be a new way, I'm not in the position anymore to have to, like, I can't say anything, otherwise I might be off TV next week. Like, I'm gonna talk what I gotta talk. It's my shit, bro.
I've known Al even longer than I've known Billy, and when he took over OVW, I'm not privy to any of this stuff. These guys a lot more than me and talk to them. But I thought that was the new hope, to use a Star Wars reference.
Sure.
Because Al was about just getting all this bullshit out of the way and just doing good business. That's all he's talked about for years, right?
Yeah.
So when he bought OVW, I think that was the mission statement. And even though the accreditation and all that stuff have a financial aspect with state grants,
mm-hmm.
It still was like, wow, he is actually trying to make the wrestling business and even wrestling training, he's legitimizing it.
Sure.
This is what we need. This is a step in the right direction.
Yeah, that's the first accredited university, but then there's the work side of that too, which means state money, federal money. Obviously, that's what we do. We're workers, bro. And I bet OVW, once they get that rolling in, that tuition, I would up my tuition 300% if it's going to be federal loans and shit for sure. But we'll see if they can get back to business, because that kind of sucks for Al too, like just become an owner and then COVID strikes, and now as a small business owner, that's fucking super hard for everybody, let alone not being able to produce your weekly TV, your payoff shows, no house shows.
Yeah.
It's got to be a stressful time, and I'm sure little things like this are the last thing he fucking needs on his plate too. So
we did for Al, like I said, I've been friends with him for decades. So this is the thing. Can we agree to disagree? And Al can bring up a point. I'll be like, well, you run the company. I never thought of that. I'm not gonna. Yeah. It's not gonna be like now we hate each other because we don't agree.
Dude, super.
Please come on. Man. Hey, Al, you're more than welcome to always come on the locker room and talk about this. Yeah, and even Tony Gunn.
Maybe we're not seeing something. Maybe we're not seeing something. Set us straight, and maybe we're speculating too much and not seeing somebody else's perspective in this. I agree with that totally. And it's not just like, let's get Al or Billy or Tony on the locker room. It's like, well, let's fucking. I mean, you don't want to talk shit out, obviously behind the scenes. So I doubt it'll happen in public, but.
We'll shut the fuck up and you guys can talk the whole time. You know what I mean? Sprinkle in with a question. I wanted to go to the chat really quick because Society, I think it's 858. I need my glasses. The Forgotten Sons got blacklisted in WWE because of an ex-Marine tweeted something pro-Trump. Ridiculous. I haven't seen them on TV since that. Is that a thing?
Yes.
There
was heat
of all the people to keep off TV.
There was heat in the locker room from the BLM guys, and the All Lives Matter shit. Like when that was hot, like how dare you all lives, like whatever. And that was before that when he hit the Trump thing. And dude, like I remember Owens and like a bunch, Sami Zayn, all going off. And that must have been enough to pull him, dude. I don't know. That's golden opportunity. We laid it out. That was the opportunity to make Lacey Evans into like a White House correspondent, to have them be Trump's personal security. You never need to see Trump. Like there's tons and tons of stuff there they could do, and here we are, bro. They're possibly done because of it. Like because there's no way you're gonna bring them back without a fresh restart.
Lawsuit. This is one time where you got to sue the company for doing this kind of thing to you. You bring them back, then you got to worry about people hurting them in the ring or something because people can't separate. We're at a time where somebody who legitimately was getting fired upon in another country to defend this, whatever, even if it is corporate interest or whatever, defend whatever the country is on behalf of the U.S., and then two guys that aren't even U.S. citizens, as far as I know, never fought a day in a war. All three of these guys are veterans, and this is the side you're going to take.
I'm not going to let you sit here and let you belittle the war on obesity that I'm constantly fighting all the time as a fat fuck and a fat pussy.
Then I guess I'm canceled now too because I did a pro fitness tweet, so that way these people. I mean, this
fitness
is
shaming.
Dude,
you're fitness shaming me.
Yeah, there is a thing called fit shaming. Where people. You think about that though. I'm always like, somebody will say to me when I talk about cardio or lifting or whatever, and be like, "Yeah, I just sat here and ate donuts." And everybody laughs. That's a real thing. Like making me feel small because I actually did something early in the morning and worked out. Or why you wake up at 3:30 in the morning. Well, when do you wake up? I sleep until 11. Oh, okay. Well, that's supposed to be cute or novel, or I'm the one that looked at like a weirdo because I wake up and work out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a whole nother conversation for another time of the psyche of failing upwards as opposed to, oh my God, you work too hard. That looks hard. I ain't doing that.
Yeah. That's the whole thing of like, I can't do that. So I'm just going to change the conversation. And like, look at this psycho working out like a madman, like, and make you feel a certain way.
Is there a camera in my house where you hear my wife talking?
Yeah. Shout out. Somebody's asking in the chat room, are most wrestlers extremely liberal? I gotta say it's probably a pretty 40-60 split, 50-50, 40-60 in there, 60-40, where it's 40 are conservative and 60 are more liberal, it seems now. And it's usually either guys who made money are more conservative, or and B, older, Generation Xers and above. Just because when you're young, you're idealistic and you have a view of the world, and it's beautiful and everything, but that doesn't pay the bills at the end of the day. And once you realize the system that you're living in and what it really takes to survive outside of your little bubble that your parents created for you, all your morals and shit come at a price, and and then you realize of what the fuck is really going on and what hill to die on and what torch to carry, and a lot of younger wrestlers, sure, that's why you see them reacting a certain way, but people who have a little more wisdom seem to be on the other side.
Just so you know, too, that it's usually related to money, too, as well as age, because when you make a lot of money and then you realize, oh, I want my taxes lowered, I don't want to pay as much. A lot of these celebrities, it's rumored that they do the offshore accounts. They want all this stuff, but they're not going to pay into the system that they're supporting. Like they make sure they have their tax shelters so the government doesn't take their money. So essentially, financially, they are conservative. I think that whole thing with the reason why we're kind of in this mess with people that are, I forget what they call them, because they live with their parents into their 30s and sometimes their 40s. Nobody's left at 18 and lived in their car, much like wrestlers from our generation. You live in your car, you go to the indie shows, you gotta legitimately eat rice and beans or tuna and rice or just fucking convenience store food, like a hot dog a day or something, or crackers and chili. That's your diet, and your home is your car for a while, because that's just what you want to do. And you learn how to fail and you learn how to do all these things. I think the safety net of living with mom and dad into your 30s and sometimes 40s, and people might be like, there's people in their 40s living with their parents. Yeah, a lot, because they had these predatory loans or these arm loans, or they lived outside their means and they had to file bankruptcy, or they got student loan debt up to $200,000, and that's not forgivable. You can't bankrupt a student loan. I think this is where society shifted, rather than, like you said, chop. I want to chop wood and carry water now because I'll be left alone.
Yesterday, I had to carry a fucking 5-gallon bucket of waters so we could smooth out the drywall paste that we did the night before. And I just looked down at that water. I was like, these motherfuckers don't know. Picked it up, just fucking started walking, dude. It's just like that. There's points in my day where I just like, okay, this is what it's about. This is what it's about.
We didn't even get to the headlines.
No.
Please make it minimum.
Yeah, they're all shitty headlines. Man, this show is already stressing me out because of my training at OVW to, shut the fuck up and whatnot, but then they want it as a new day, and then I have to think about where I am as a businessman, and like that. Not that I want blowback. I want the best for everybody, but is it worth talking about these things? And then I'm like, fuck it. Why am I silencing myself based on somebody else's psychological hold over me from years ago that I was conditioned to? Not going to happen. Just a weird mix of feelings that are running through me right now. I figured I wanted to vocalize.
Let's talk it through for a minute, because I go through the same things. You have to remind yourself. It's kind of like what Kevin Sullivan said to Hogan one time. He said, you have to remember your name card. It's a Japanese thing. I think that's the term. You remember who you are. You have to now think about who you are now and what you have now and what you have going on, whether people know it or don't know it. You got a lot of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. It's not about sacrificing. I think about it too. I'm like, is there anything else I could have done? Like, could I have gone into sports? Right. Does a conspiracy show hurt the fact that I want to be maybe some kind of sports radio guy or some kind of other type of broadcaster? Probably. But what would the cost be of me holding that in for another 10 years when I held it in so long until we came together under, like osmosis or symbiosis, and it just organically worked. Many other opportunities have come along with Russo. We could have just as easily said, in the beginning, man, as much as we love Vince and we really like being around him and we're friends and all that stuff when we started, we could have still said, he's never going to be in power. Maybe Bischoff or Bruce, or what's Vince going to think? And there's no way I'm going to go to AEW with Cody because there's heat there. Do you see how we have so much more, and we didn't do it for those reasons of weighing what opportunities we can have. We followed our heart with the right moves with the right people. And what you're saying is not untrue. And you even said, if it is, please come on and tell me, educate us, smarten us up, and then we'll shut the fuck up. Clear the air. Not because we want hits or downloads or views or listens. We want to know. And that goes across the board to anybody. You're talking about Cody, you're talking about Pritchard, Bischoff, these other things. Just because Russo told us something and we actually absolutely do believe him doesn't mean you don't have an opportunity to tell your side. Yeah, 100%. And Russo has invited them on to tell their side as well, but they won't do a show. So I believe, and I don't know exactly what point I'm trying to make, but I'm doing the comparison of, you might think it's hurting you, but think about the 99.9% of the people out there that are keeping quiet. Would you rather be just in the mix of that, or would you rather stand out and then still tell a truth or what you know to be a truth at this point, and then get it off your chest and know that you are a man at the end of the day and you spoke that. And when they get mad or they get defensive or they tell you to shut the fuck up, it's like the Hillary emails. You're not saying it's not true. Like if you said it's a lie, okay, please come on and tell me, or tell me how I'm lying and I'll relay it to my audience. No, just shut the fuck up. That's not for you to talk about. Well, now I sort of think it is, because you're not denying it. You're just telling me to shut the fuck up, which raises my antennas even more. Does that make sense?
It does. And no, thank you for laying it out like that. I mean, I'm with it every step of the way. It's just that trigger.
You're institutionalized.
Bro.
You're crazy.
Yep. But I'm so beyond that. You know what I mean? But it's still 10 years beyond it in my coming into 14 years, of those first 3 years where it was conditioned. I paid to be conditioned that way. And that's what helped me make me that. And now they know that too. That's why they pull that fucking string, dude. They know they have. But not anymore. The reality is not anymore. I'm far too old, far too independent. And there's no one who can really fuck my paper up like that. Not that I think they would, and not that I'm
If they would, they're telling your antennas will go up 10 times more.
Yeah.
Of what you said to be a truth, then, right?
Yeah. Oh, big respect to you, Snowman. Thank you, man.
Come on, blacklisted too. Let's do it together.
Adam Cole credits his current WWE star for his success on the independent circuit. He said that Kevin Owens and his relationship goes back to the time competing in PWG, back to the War Games and all that kind of shit. I'm not going to go into it. He said he played such a big part in me taking off on independence. He took me under his wing in PWG. They have a lot of history together, but only have crossed paths once in WWE. Something needs to be done about this. I know that was a popular act out there. Man, did you see that picture of Cole with the video game thing and like his arms are up, dude? And I was just like, wow, dude, I can't believe like that they're not on him to be more of a body guy, because he's such an awesome worker. And then until he goes to the get your shit in spots. And if Seth is Triple H light, he's Shawn light, right? Like that's pretty much what they are the equivalent to. I don't know about a big program with Owens and him drawing it. I think it'd be better if Owens went down to NXT and did business there instead of bringing Cole up to the main roster. I don't see that working out too well right now.
Yeah, we've talked about that NXT thing when they a lot of guys like Ciampa don't even want to go there because they know what's in store.
Sure.
Whether from a perspective of perception or even just the politics of being up there as opposed to NXT. Yeah, I saw that picture and he got some stuff for that, didn't he? Talking about how small he is.
Yeah, I'm just like, why would you allow them to use that? You know what I mean? If you're going to look a certain way, you want to be portrayed that way. I hate when I look like a complete fat slob in pictures. But that's why I'm doing Stevie Richards Fitness, even though I have failed you apparently, and I need to hire you for some private lessons. So
I can do that.
All right.
My OnlyFans is open.
Okay.
That's the Adam Cole thing. So see, I've been through this too. I don't know if Adam, in your fitness journey, Adam's in great shape, by the way. For him looking small, he looks lean. Mm-hmm. He looks very lean. So if you saw him in real life as a regular person next to other regular people, you'd probably say he was pretty lean, shredded, athletic. You'd know he was an athlete. But you have to do certain things in certain points in your wrestling career to either bulk up, put on size, do whatever you can, or at least have vascularity in your muscles. And I think that's what he had before. And it could just be a bad picture. He ate some pasta. He was soft that day, but he's usually much more vascular, which makes up for like a Ciampa. Ciampa's a small guy too. Mm-hmm. He's a super small guy, but because he's so shredded and he's got a barrel chest and his legs are freaking huge for his size, he looks much bigger than he is. That's the kind of stuff that maybe Cole should start training with Ciampa in his home gym, because that guy apparently knows what the fuck he's doing. Pretty much. And maybe there is maybe there is like a neck injury or a spinal injury or some kind of nerve
That
thing.
could be it too. That he's
Old Paul
Fabian.
Orndorff thing. Yeah.
That he's Fabian and he can't do that. So I didn't even
There's
think
atrophy.
about that.
There's atrophy going on.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even think about that. But I guess he pulled 30 minutes with Keith Lee the other night. Then Lee won the title. So I don't know what the Society 858 said he didn't like the match. We'll have to see what Man Beast and Colin Wysong have to say about it this week on the Next Level podcast. There was another one up there. But Wanda Dead says, isn't staying in NXT kind of like living with your parents in your 30s? I guess you could put it that way. It depends how hungry you are and what your setup is. Say you're a Matt Riddle or you're a Tommaso Ciampa with little kids and life is good. You're over in NXT. You're making a good living wage. And there's heat, stress, being away from your family, to be on the road where you might not even get a shot because they'll start and stop you X amount of times. Whereas in NXT, every day you get to go to the gym, the best gym ever, have probably free food and catering from nutritionists, get to fucking go be a star where you only have to work one TV taping and maybe 2 house shows and get to go home and sleep in your own bed every night and play with your kids. That's like for some people and most people there who are grown adults who are signed, that's worth more than the fucking payoff of going and dealing with the bullshit where you might get fired quicker because you went up to NXT and got on the road and now your fucking journey's done and stopped already. We tried, couldn't do it, let them go. Instead of staying where they're still chanting your name and you look like a star every week. For smart workers, there is fucking a reason to stay there if they feel that way, especially with Tommaso's neck and all that kind of shit. The travel is way worse than the bump. No, maybe not in his matches, than the bumps you take in the fucking ring. So like a 10-minute match, yeah, it sucks. 12 hours of fucking travel to get home. That's what cripples you afterwards. He's got a way better chance of feeling better doing that match, going getting an ice bath, going getting in the sauna, getting a massage, going home and being in his own bed within 2 hours after it happening. That is smarter for his health, I'm sure.
I totally agree. Yeah, the worst thing that happens is after you're done a match, like any match at all, no matter what. Well, the waiting around all day and having to, they'll fuck with your time. You got 12, now you have 8, now you have 16, now you have 4. That's all done purposely as well. They got the times set up and written out before the show even happens. I think knowing that people like Bruce exist and Vince exist and the entire Carranos and Yes Men and the minefield that you have to do before you even get in the ring. And then you said on the road, rather than saying, okay, I'm going to buy a hot tub and I'll have an ice bath in my house and I got the one at the building. I have all these things set up for recovery and rehab. No, I'm going to hop in a car, go to the Red Roof or Motel 6 because I want to save money, or I got a 200-mile drive to the next town. So I hop right in a car, get to the hotel, check in, sleep on a shitty bed, got to get up, try to get to the gym. Then they want me to do whatever and jump through whatever political hoops before I have my next match, hop in a car again or hop on a plane, go international, come back. I mean, I'm saying the same thing as you, but yeah, man, if they were going to pay me 50 grand or 52 grand a year to stay in Florida in NXT and I'm making $1,000 a week and I can try
plus merch
I can try to do some side business to build it up and network. I'll just save whatever I can. There's no state tax. I'll invest in my health with the hot tub, the ice bath, the home gym, and other things and write it all off. And then hopefully I'll be able to ride out 5 years and make a name for myself outside. That's what I would look at because that's 250 grand in for 5 years. If you're looking at the low end.
Yeah. And
pretty good money in a day.
I bet Tommaso's probably making close to. I bet Tommaso's, and this is all speculation. I'd like to say 160 to 200,000 based on his toys, his deal, his merch, his payoff shows, being a top guy there. Like, and dude, you run that for 5 years, that's $1 million. Can you fucking be smart and put away half of that and pay your house off? I think Tommaso's highly intelligent enough to be doing it that way. So there is some who might just be comfortable and not hungry and going along with the game and staying there. And it is like the 30-year-old living in your house. And I can't name any off the top of my head. I guess some probably fit that bill, but like then there's others who have a bigger perspective of what's going on. And Tommaso's been in this game a long time. He knows. I wish he would fucking discipline himself on these idiotic bumps, though, in his matches that make me fucking cringe. Stu Bennett doesn't believe that UFOs exist. No, the NXT UK has helped the British wrestling scene. He does believe UFOs exist. He's got some bad news for you. He would say, I wouldn't say it helped the UK scene. I would say it helped the wrestlers who have been signed, but outside of that, I don't think it's been beneficial. You'd have to look at the effect it's had on some of the companies or some of the independent companies who were thriving prior versus now. So I don't think it's been beneficial to the scene at all. I understand what WWE have done it. Did it. They wanted to have a stakehold there. It's not coincidental that NXT UK was brought out at the same time that World of Sport, which at the same time was seen as a threat to WWE over in the UK. It wasn't coincidental. However, it's been portrayed by them, and I think we all know the truth behind that. Again, that's business. I understand why they did it. I'm not casting them for doing that, but to portray it as beneficial to the UK as something benevolent is ludicrous. And as good as the product might be, it's certainly not something that's helped the UK independent scene. A brilliant statement, absolutely dead on, pretty much in the best worker way, saying they snaked their way in, killed World of Sport, took all the top indie workers, rounded them up, made a little hot buzz thing, and now they don't give a shit about it because damage done. They wiped out the indies like they wanted to.
Pretty much.
Same with Evolve. Now with they bought Evolve's library and Gabe's over. Well, who else did you fucking take out that meant anything? And now the door's wide open for 2CW to come back and really stick a sharp stick in the bear's eye, bro. Like,
I thought you weren't going to let that happen.
The door's open, but I'm going to close it.
Well, let me know when you three guys are booked, and then I'll talk about my money with Josh.
For sure. Josh is pumped. Josh actually hit me. He's like, Hacker, I get to move up to 20-pound dumbbells tomorrow because he's only been able to do the little 8-pounders and shit like that. So he was excited to get going, and I'm glad after him.
Why is he not using bands?
I'm not sure.
Totally do more weight and take the impact off.
I'll talk to him after we get off.
I'll give him the programs. I'll give him everything.
Sure. I'll hit him up for sure. I just know that since he got his hernia fucking redone and he had 36 stitches or staples, now he's actually able to move, and it's still uncomfortable, but definitely bands are probably the way to go for sure. He was just happy to be able to get the green light to do a little exercise, Appreciate you, Big Evil Pops, in the chat room. Get back to work, you son of a bitch. We're counting on you. You're essential at being evil and producing pops, if that's what you do, and being big. So be as big as you can and as evil as you can.
Is he the one that was going to create the pops for all of us, the Funko Pops?
I'm not sure if that was him or not. That might have been 37 Custom Toys, I believe.
No, there's actually a Funko one.
There's a Funko guy, too? I'm not sure on that one. If it is you, Big Evil Pops.
Big Evil Pops reviews the stuff, I think, right?
Okay. Well, get back to work and start creating our Funkos, God damn it. Scott Smith, go to bed, too, you son of a bitch. You got to get up for work and do the late shift. Peyton Royce on Sean Spears joining AEW. I wanted him to be happy, she says. We were on our honeymoon in SmackDown in the middle of Hawaii. It was on the show, so we flew from Hawaii to Chicago, then back to Hawaii for the second leg of our honeymoon for his debut. I was so happy and proud of him. He even got up until this point. The world has not gotten a glimpse of how talented he is. He's on another level, and I can't wait until he finally gets to show the world, said Mrs. Spears, Peyton Royce. I agree. I've been saying it a long time, man, and he came up with a perfect 10 thing. Oh, you did that on your own? We're not putting that on TV. I don't get it. Even though the crowd's going nuts for it. Buried. Goes to, AEW. I heard it was a fight that Cody had to pull strings to even fucking convince the other guys to get him. Spears is probably one of the best workers on their roster and still underutilized. Restarted 3-4 times with Tully. Now with the glove. We had him with the CNN thing, which I was interested in. They did 1 week of that, the Sean Spears, Tucker Carlson thing. That was great. something else before that was like, what are you doing, man? Oh, the tournament where he should have gone over for the TNT title and Cody and Murderhawk could have spun out and it could have been, just awesome stuff. Just again, marginalized again and again and again. And I don't know how they're really going to get him over. He went over on, just because I saw this last night in the AEW little pop-ups, AEW Dark results, which I think is kind of dumb stooging that on fucking TV because no one's going to go watch it after. But Sean Spears defeats Brian Pillman Jr. Well, I'm like, dude, that's a match I wanted to see on TV. Show me a little clip, highlight reel of the AEW After Dark wins. Here's all the winning. Boom, boom, boom. Show the finishers. Don't just do a pop-up scroll thing because that's making people go, I don't want to watch AEW After Dark. If you see a little clip and the match looks good, you might go get more views. Let's do smarter marketing over there. But I think Sean Spears should have been pushed to the moon long ago. And Peyton Royce is actually shining in her matches. Not that I ever thought I'd be here putting over the Iconics, but after all the girls' bullshit we've sat through with Bayley and Sasha, dude, when the Iconics come on, I'm actually friggin' interested because how terrible those girls are. And then they've been delivering. What's the other one's name? Not Peyton Royce. Billy Kay, with her comedic timing in the pre-tapes has been very good. And Peyton Royce in individual and singles with Billy on the outside has done very well technically compared to where they were. So I'd love to be able to, not love to, I usually we come on here and rib about whatever terribleness in girls wrestling, but those two girls have stepped it up, and I hope Spears gets the opportunity that I really want to see him get.
On the point of the girls, do you think because Bayley and Sasha have been absolutely horrible, do you think they could try to flip-flop them, and then you see the real politics of Bayley and Sasha trying to bury the Iconics if they haven't done it already?
That'd be interesting.
Because rather than getting better, let's keep these people down. Because then I look at the analogy. I remember being in TNA, and Spears was there, and Spears was good back then. He was good when he did some extra work, or he was a local working in WWE when I was there. He's been around a very long time. This is the interesting part that we just talked about with the OVW thing. I don't want to bring it up again, but the theme that Cody has to go to bat for Spears. And what did the other guys not see in Sean Spears that they're fighting it so hard besides he's not our boy? If Cody, and he is Cody's boy, and of course they are from OVW, but if Cody said, this guy's been around since, from what I can remember, 2005, 2006, maybe around there. Mm-hmm. He's been around forever. He's worked. He's gotten over. Let's give him a shot. Yeah, he's my friend, so I can vouch for him as a person, but we should be giving this guy's never got an opportunity. And who are the other guys to turn around and say, no, I don't think his psychology's so much better than all of them except for Cody? Is that the thing? Like he's going to outshine you? You're worried? And now you're trying to not, is there some kind of, this is where, hey, if we're wrong, come on the show and tell us. But what I'm looking at is not, you don't reset somebody 3 or 4 times by accident. There's a thing there about keeping a guy treading water or keeping a guy so ineffective and maybe a little over, but not too over for him to really grasp what he needs to do. Do you see that happening?
I don't know. It's tough for me to look for it. I think they want something for him so bad, and they have an idea, and then something else opens up, and they think the thing with Tully will be the way to go. But I see they want to form the 4 Horsemen, and Spears is in there, and at the last minute they'll replace Spears with Tessa. Well, they'll do it.
Let's go back to the initial thing of getting him in. What's the reasoning for blocking him, or you have to fight to get Spears in?
I don't know.
Tell me about it. I mean, tell me the way their minds work. You know them better than I do.
I think it was because of the executive vice presidents think that you have to have gone through New Japan Strong style fucking and be over with the indie darlings. And as a WWE, they were in that mode of, we're dead set against bringing in future endeavor WWE guys in right away. We don't want that look. I think that's what it was. And they're like, and Cody's like, bro, this guy's fucking man. Like, even the Perfect 10 thing would have fucking, I would have done 10. I would call myself the Perfect 11. 10, 10, 10, and then at the end, fuck, like, write that to the camera, right? Like, there's your WWE, fuck you. Like, they want to take shots, like, there's the fucking ammo blammo, but nobody wants to pull the trigger on it, dude. So there was some convincing I heard that had to happen, and maybe those guys just didn't know him or what have you, but they haven't done really shit with him that I don't want to say putting him with Tully Blanchard isn't fucking, not doing shit with him, but like the restarts, he's had 4 restarts in 9 months.
Yeah. Starting him out with Tully, that's a year to 2 years easy. You know what I mean?
Sorry. Troy in the chat room. Troy, you son of a bitch. Troy buying that Broasters coffee. I think he's on half a dozen bags already, so we got to get the 5-pound one from thebroasters.com done. But I haven't had any coffee yet, Troy. And you're just rubbing it in my face, you son of a bitch.
Never had a cup of coffee.
Dude, thebroasters.com. That's the best place to start.
I tried it. I want to try it. Give it a shot.
Oh, man.
Hey, we talk about that, dude. This is the stuff in the locker room that Sean Spears might be thinking about every single week. Like, or if he knew coming in that Cody had to go to bat for him that much, that also sets up to every time if there's like, hey, man, how you doing? So good for you. And him knowing, like, yeah, dude. Yeah, you're really happy to see me here, huh?
Right.
Right. Am I wrong about any of that?
I think that could be, but I think Spears is more worried about when he goes home to the condo and opens the door and sees 70,000 Amazon Prime packages there that she ordered while they were on social distancing. Did you see that? Like they did. No. He did some home video. I think it was on Being the Elite, and he's like, and this is what she orders. I pan to the side, bro. It was like it puts your fucking Amazon delivery to shame. She must have had 75 boxes there delivered in the last 24 hours, dude.
Yeah, but I didn't pay for those Amazon deliveries.
maybe they're off her wish list too. Who knows? But
beware the Amazon wish list, the pervert shopping. Beware of that. I'll come back to bite them in the ass sooner or later.
Who knows? But it just
not them. I mean, just the girls in general.
Spears worried about his push, but really he's like, dude, I gotta get her off Amazon Prime. And that's probably what he's really worried about. Oh man. I popped for the new fucking Horseman icon.
There's a new icon
for our chat. It's Gimmick's face, Greg's face from last night.
Oh, the Facebook one. Oh yeah, the Sherlock Holmes mysteries.
Yeah,
Unsolved mysteries.
Made me laugh. But yeah, shout out to both of them, man. I was critical of the Iconics when they first started, but they're getting it and getting there. And Spears has it. I just hope they use it the right way. Watch the American Nightmare meet our Spice Nightmare, says Hot Ones Game Show. Cody Rhodes, a super fan of Ronnie, takes on the Sauce in round 1 of the Hot Ones Game Show. 5 minutes, 5-minute video up there at Hot Ones Game Show now with the American Nightmare going in on it. I like those shows a lot. I thought Jericho's was good. Bill Burr's was good. A bunch of them, man. It pops me. Oh, they're doing it over Zoom, so he's not right there. But be all good, man. I'm gonna watch this later. I like watching people punish themselves with hot food. I don't like to be one of the ones, but this is a good one. I got to watch this too. AEW getting us. Watch the first ever All Elite Wrestling Puppy Battle Royal. Following Wednesday night's episode of AEW Dynamite, AEW aired the first ever Puppy Battle Royal. Similar to the NFL tradition of running the Puppy Bowl prior to the Super Bowl each year, AEW brought a gaggle of adorable puppies who just happened to be named after wrestlers on their roster. What follows is certainly the most adorable, fluffy battle royal in wrestling history, featuring legendary Pharaoh as the special guest enforcer. The video is a partnership with Angels Among Us Pet Rescue, a nonprofit based in Atlanta, raising awareness for pet adoption in local shelters. This is 9 minutes and 24 seconds.
Yeah, Angels Among Us is how we got me and Odin.
Oh, really? Awesome.
Yeah, but the girl doesn't run it anymore. But yeah. Yeah, I saw the promo for it. They did a good job with it.
Have your pet spayed and neutered. This is good stuff, man. I mean, obviously you're going to get.
This will draw a bigger number than the show.
Well, cats and puppies right on YouTube alone are the biggest draw. Oh boy, eating the fucking ref's crotch. You ever do that spot?
Oh.
No.
This is what WWE should be, a parody of the wrestling show.
He's going out over the top.
Maybe she did. Maybe she did. They got to clean that up, fans. And still,
The cats will be better.
Well, that's next week. You can't blow it all in 1 week. Good stuff. What the fluff? 3D Plague Mask is going to be bad, y'all. Yeah, man, I got to try and change the thermistor maybe this weekend. Sorry, Troy, I'm building a bathroom with the king upstairs from the studs up right now, and that's no small project before the wives
I may
get
get
home
in the
on
3D
Sunday.
printing game, trying to find a product to 3D print.
Oh, really?
I think that could be the next thing.
With everything you got going on with home gym stuff, one little gadget doodad thing, bro, you'd be off in the races.
I'm trying to figure out what that gadget would be. There wouldn't be take 4 or 5 days to print out, and I can turn it over. And
I know they're having a sale right now on Ender 3s, which is the smaller version of what I have. It's like an 8x8 plate. Mine's a 12x12 build plate. But if you're just building smalls, you want to learn how to get into it without spending a lot. I think you can get them for like $209 this week for an Ender 3.
I was just gonna go all in on it, not buy $1,200 one or anything, but something that
Reality CR10S Pro.
CR10S Pro.
Yep, $625 to $700 in there.
I might have to do it.
That'll be awesome.
If anybody's got any ideas of what I can print, I can find the file.
Dude, just go to thingiverse.com and just start looking, work out like little things here and there. You'll be inspired instantly, dude. It's all free plans, all free downloads.
Nice.
It's open source everything, man.
That's awesome. I'm looking at it right now. I see a bunch of Baby Yodas, and I see your face mask.
Yeah.
1 to 2 hours to print, no support required.
Turn it around, flip it, $25, mail it.
I think there's a market for cloth masks with screen printing for conspiracy theorists of like a sheep across the thing.
I was going to try and have my guy that I subscribe to on Patreon design it like a hand over your mouth mask. So it looks like you're being silenced. I think they would buy into that shit too. 1984
written on it or something.
Absolutely.
Pretty cool.
On the knuckles, like, boom, boom, boom. That'd be dope. So puppies, guys, watch it. Extreme Rules updated card and matches and speculation. Drew versus Ziggler, Asuka versus Sasha, Bailey versus Nikki, Braun versus Bray, Ray versus Seth in an poor Ojo match, and Apollo Crews versus MVP. There will also most likely be some kind of stipulation match between Big Show and Orton following the Big Six, Shitty Six match. Matt Riddle will likely be on the card, although his actual match isn't clear. We'll see about that after he dropped on Twitter a whole 2-minute video explaining his speaking out experience and pretty much has a stooge off that he had an affair and the girl who's going against him is now a stalker and won't stop, and like that he has to come out to Twitter to tell that. No, you don't have to come out to Twitter, bro. Like these are the kind of moves to me that are like, how are wrestlers under WWE contract thinking that these are the types of right moves legally and for your career to be putting out there, dude, instead of just staying small? And it had already passed. The spotlight wasn't on him, but now it directly right back is again. And because of that, I would say he might not be on Extreme Rules. Or he might win the world title. One of the two.
Well, it's hard to say. I mean, we said he obviously didn't get clearance from WWE, but it could have been his lawyer. I wouldn't imagine that Matt would put out that 2-minute video denying as much as he did without the lawyer telling, because the lawyer is who made the original statement, right?
Well,
so I wouldn't say maybe WWE doesn't want to have their name attached to it, but I can't see his lawyer not contacting Jerry McDevitt or somebody in talent relations saying, this is what we want to do. And they say, fine, we're not going to put our name with it, but it's fine. I can't see him just going off and going rogue at this point when he's literally paying for a lawyer to protect him during this.
I just don't see any lawyers ever saying make a blanket statement to the world on your social media as a fucking good idea. All the lawyers I know are say, shut the fuck up, and if it comes to court, that's where we handle it. Don't give them any ammo. Dude, that is fucking opening yourself up to be those type of things to be played in court against you. And then they come with her with the dates of this, that, and the other. Well, he's saying this, but then my phone records, as you can see here, is that he was texting me. I had to do that. And like, you know, you're setting yourself up. Like, I don't understand how people are this fucking stupid, bro.
No, I totally agree with you. I don't know. Like, again, I say, are we...
It's the same as Quackenbush. Like, watch that Quackenbush one. I see that getting played in court 2 years from now, where he tries to come on and do the big statement, and like it's supposed to be genuine, and it's a total 15-minute look at me wrestling promo, and the guys who are being spoken out against are the dudes that think they can come over the top and be like, but we want to make it a safe space. So if anybody ever has anything, please come to me and do that. Star said that. He said that. Skrull said that. How?
Yeah.
What? I don't understand how people are this ignorant.
Great point.
It's so
You're absolutely right.
That's sociopath 101 on display.
I'm not arguing with that at all.
WWE clarifies the rules for Ojo por Ojo, eye for an eye match at Extreme Rules. WWE has provided clarification in this bizarre match stipulation that Rey versus the Messiah in the highly anticipated collision at the horror show of Extreme Rules on Sunday, July 19th. Let's see. This is fucking copy. The horror show Extreme Rules added a new level of terror as Rey Mysterio and Seth Rollins will meet in an eye for an eye match. Mysterio team with Owens to defeat Rollins and Murphy for the right to choose the gory stipulation, where a winner can only be determined by extracting the opponent's eye. So we are going to get some fucking pre-taped, it's a phony eyeball, Kill Bill. My fucking eye. I wonder if he'll hit her with the crane technique, the Pai Mei shit.
Ooh, man.
Huh? You don't think this could go perfect? You don't think this couldn't fucking be excellent?
No, I don't think so.
He's going to hold his eye there. He's going to fucking
I think this will be so the only thing you can do is you need to follow it up. You need to follow it up with the scene from Guardians of the Galaxy, or was it? No, it was Avengers Endgame, where Thor put the fake eye in and was like doing this. Yeah, and he goes, "Oh, I don't think this works."
Sean's back there. I'll take that eye. You going to use that?
So you're going to take the eye. Yeah, you're going to take the eye, which is probably this eye for an eye is all Ribble and Shawn Michaels anyway. And then it'll come back on Monday and be fine with no scars or surgery.
I got the best optometrist in the business. I
thought you were going to go to your Rodney Dangerfield thing for a second.
Forget about it. Yeah. Booker T responds to Sasha Banks claiming she and Bayley are better than Harlem Heat. He said, I put her over. I put Bayley over too. Sometimes that's hard to do, but I managed to do it. I said Bayley's not great at any one thing, but she's good at everything. It's not a and if that's not a compliment, I don't know what is. Maybe they're feeling a certain way because they have gold around their waist. Sasha, Bayley, great tag team. As far as those two being anywhere near as great as the Hall of Fame tag team, 10-time world tag team champs along with the greatest manager in history, Sister Sherry Martel, what Harlem Heat brought to the game and are still sprinkling, people are now singing the name on a yearly basis. I don't know how I don't know too many people who wanted to run up on Harlem Heat. As far as Sasha and Bayley go, I'm going to leave it at that. Where he tried to work and then they know they're rotten and then she tries to come over back with some little Twitter bullshit and then he's like, okay, you suck, you know it, and we're over, and that's what that is.
So basically, he was ready to put them over and be nice about it, and then they said they were better than them, and then he came back with the truth.
But her going back over on them was her trying to work internet wise, and then he's just like, too much, no, okay,
So WWE shop clearance. People seem to like this weekly thing. Yeah. I look at the stuff. Gronk Mania made the list this week.
I think I'm going on. I think I'm getting a
Gronk Mania. Please don't buy me any more shirts.
You don't want a Gronk Mania.
Well, here's the thing. The Gronk. I like the Rob Gronkowski Gronk shirt. The Rob Gronkowski Gronk Mania shirt. You also have the WrestleMania 36 McBossman shirt.
Are they $7.99 yet or no?
Is it what?
How much are they? 14 or 7?
They're 15 bucks.
We got to wait till they go $7.
Yeah, they got to drop. 36, the Firefly Funhouse explodes thing. The Alexa Bliss Pigtails is down to $9.95. Let me see here. The Lex Luger shirt is even still 15 bucks. Wow. Carmella's Dance Break is $11.95. Roddy Piper's in the clearance store at $40. Come on, man. You can't do that. You can't put Riot Squad is still $28. Wait a minute. Riot Squad, we riot $11.95. And then we win riot at $27.99. The same shirt is 2 different prices.
Awesome.
So that's pretty.
Strangler Steve sent me that picture from the ECW show that I was at there, One Night Stand 2006. And he said we should change that one sign. If Cena wins, we riot. To if Maxwell dies, we riot. And we'll get that out there.
Hey, by the way, Greg, who was on the show last night, Russo's nephew, sent me a link that Giselle Maxwell was moderator and admin, supposedly, of her own Reddit subthread. And what she would do, I put it in the chat in Facebook. What she would do would be she would correct people on the age of consent in different countries. Like she was posting all these things for 14 years. And then 7 days ago, on the day she got arrested, the post stopped. So very odd. So that's put in the messenger.
I'll definitely need to follow up on that for sure. Heath Slater says his WWE Raw appearance was a nice closing of a chapter. He said, when speaking on WWE's YouTube channel after the show, Slater admitted it's a nice way to close out his WWE chapter. It's knocked silly right now, being honest, Slater joked, but it's just something that had to be done. You know me, Andrew, we go way back. He is a brother of mine, and he promised me something, and I wanted it. So I confronted him, and thank God it happened. But then again, he's the man. He's the champ. He's my best friend, a brother inside and outside of the ring. Pretty sure he still loves me after he helped me up because he gave me a hug. I hope anyway, because he's a bad dude. But no, this was a nice closing of the chapter, so let's see what the future brings for me. Strange statement. We talked about this on just bad writing, bad bruising, I will say, in the Raw and SmackDown review on RussoBrand.com, where, dude, he comes out, cuts the heel promo with Ziggler, shoves him, slaps him, Drew goes over on him strong in 4 minutes with a real finish, knockout finish, instead of if they're boys beating him with wrestling where he's not really hurting him. And then they're standing up, holding hands, Ring of Honor, baby, before the segment's out. 4 weeks of TV shotgunned into one fucking segment that made no sense whatsoever. Makes everybody look dumb because we just fired this guy, and now he's back. And he's reminding everyone that our champion was in a comedy act. Like, could you fucking write a stupider segment? On the roof?
Yeah, they absolutely could. Challenge accepted, right?
On the roof next week. We're going to do it on the roof.
Yeah, this is like 4 weeks of TV where you have a guy that's whatever and helping Ziggler out to some extent because he's mad, and then they do that, raising each other's arms or doing it. All this does is every day, I've said this to you and Russo off camera, that they need to get the belt off Drew because every day they have him as champion, all they're doing is sabotaging and destroying whatever credibility he has as champion. So he's better off going back to chasing the title until this whole virus thing and they have a crowd again or whatever they're looking for, because he's being set up to fail. Mm-hmm. Every time you remind the audience what little you're getting each and every week, whenever you remind the audience of, I got fired, whenever you remind the audience that I was in a comedy act, and oh, by the way, this is the guy I was in a comedy act with, and I'm still friends with, you're looking at a guy that hasn't grown beyond those points. Reminding everybody of how you're flawed as the champion does not get you sympathy when you look like Drew McIntyre. They want to see you in a way. This world wants, what did you say? We want to build everybody up so we can tear them down and say, ha, I'm better than you. That's what you're having the audience think about Drew. Now, you're not so great. You're just as fucked up as I am.
And they never got him to the top to bring him back down. You can do that, but got to do it the right way. Here's a guy you want to talk that exact story. Chris Hemsworth discusses getting into shape to play Hulk Hogan. So you want to talk about build the Hulkster up, tear him down, bring him back up to tear him down again. As soon as this movie drops, they're going to fucking tear. Dude, it's going to be a Black Lives Matter fucking free-for-all on Hogan. Last year it was announced that Chris Hemsworth was going to play the Hulkster in a biopic of his life. The actor has spoken about the role recently. I'll have to put on more size than I ever had before, even more than I put on for Thor. And then there's this accent as well as the physicality and the attitude. I'll also have to do a deep dive in the rabbit hole of the wrestling world, which I'm really looking forward to doing. I'm going to be blonde, probably balding, and with a stash. So it's going to be fun to see, Hemsworth told Total Film. He says, I haven't even seen the script yet. The project is deep in development. Todd Phillips and I met to chat about the idea maybe a year or two ago. We talked about the idea for the film, which I was thinking was going to be a TV series at one point. There were a few different ideas about what portion of his life it was going to be set in. So he spitballed about what it could be and what I thought it might be. Then thankfully, with these few ideas and the script getting process of being written, and Hulk Hogan is still quite a ways away. So that means 3 cycles of DECA, 2 of HGH, cycle
off. What are you
off.
talking about? You're straight up Anadrol, man.
I'm just Anadrol. Let's go for it.
Well, here's the thing. Why would you do this movie? There's a few reasons why you shouldn't. And you said the one thing of where's the world going to be unless he's contractually obligated to do this. But Hogan's stuff has been around for many years. This whole thing with the tape that dropped and other things, unless that's the story you're going to tell, which could be quite interesting. Hemsworth has a business with an app called Center, which is it's very well done, and it's a subscription-based app where every day they tell you what workout to do, what to eat, meditation, all these recovery. It's a very well thought-out app, and you have a lot of different trainers. Hemsworth is in there somewhat, but he's not one of the people taking you through. But obviously, him being the face of it and showing how he's fit and how he gets in shape for movies, this could dramatically impact the sales and subscriptions of the Center app, which is his bread and butter right now. Now, whatever you're making on the app, if it's just one of those things where, hey, I attach my name to this and that's it. But if you have ownership or stake in the company and you're creating the app and you have overhead to do that, doesn't being Hulk Hogan gaining 60 pounds or more hurt the app? Because now you're not in shape. You're just a big roidy. If you look like The Rock, you can't have the Center app.
No.
I'm sorry. Nancy Brown's not going to want to work out, and that's who he appeals to. And he appeals to guys like us, too, who, as you get older, you want to be more fit and you want to be more mobile and stuff like that. That's what I see happening is unless he's selling the company and this is what he's going to do for this, one's going to get hurt.
Yeah, I'm thinking, like, who are they casting in other parts of 80s dudes? Who's, like, if you're going to tell the story, you got to, it's Andre, it's Big Boss Man, it's Akeem the African Dream. I think that's what they'll probably want to do with a period piece, unless you're like a Hogan retrospective where you start with him as an old man and then you go back and he's just thinking through all of his life, you know what I mean? And you show him NWO and you do the whole thing. I don't think it'll be about the controversy as much. I don't know, man. I think it'll just be an Americana piece at the end. And it'll sell hundreds of millions based on the controversy alone of what gets stepped to. I have no doubt about it. If it's done right, it could set the tone for the Ric Flair movie, the whatever, the Macho Man movie, the whatever. Final story, thankfully. Photos. The WWE Bella Twins show off stunning nude pregnancy photo shoot, Stevie. You can go over to the Nikki Bella right now and look at them covering their tits with big, huge stomachs and covering or standing ass to ass. So you can see them that way if you're If you're into pregnant Valley girls, I guess it's for you. They're 4 weeks out from pregnancy, so extremely pregnant. It's extreme.
Do you think Sarah Logan's hot, or because they took her pregnancy heat away?
They're just definitely. They're setting the tone of where to go. You know what I mean? Like, this is what you have to do. These are the steps now that you follow to capitalize on your pregnancy.
Yeah, I just don't see it, but every time you say it, it makes perfect sense that they have to, like it used to be, you would have to get implants, or you would have to, get your body, you have to get as lean as possible, or you'd have to do bra and panties matches or whatever. Now you have to get pregnant to join the club.
Sure.
I can't see, like, dude, Vince, Stephanie, Vince especially, just seeing him hug people and gorilla fucking, I'm like, who is this guy? Who is this guy that wouldn't even shake hands 15 years ago, wouldn't even touch people, didn't even want to be, I thought he was a germaphobe. Now he's hugging everybody, he's crying in gorilla. It's like, once I saw Vince cry, I'm like, he's losing his fucking mind, because this guy, I mean, all I got to do is see him sneeze now. Not get hot.
I was going through menopause. Leave me the goddamn alone. I get emotional.
And he's still probably on the gas.
I don't know now.
Gotta be. You can't not be at this point, right?
Jesus. I mean, if you mean gas by blood transfusions and adrenochrome, then yes. And wasn't there a time when Vince did have a slight black eye that I remember underneath that wasn't like because of something that happened on a show?
I think there was one picture. The only other time was the Bret Hart one. But for all I know, he didn't get punched by Bret, and he got his adrenochrome. If you want to play conspiracy theorist.
The whole thing was a work to get the adrenochrome.
But it's always under the right eye, isn't it? The politicians, that you figure it'd be under the left. But I think a lot of them, it's always been under the right eye.
I don't know. There was one other story that I clicked off accidentally. They hired a chick from Etsy who grew Etsy to $3.1 billion as their new marketing head. So it'll be interesting. Big DIY.
Until she finds out what that place is all about.
Big push for DIY coming, but no Roadcaster setup. But yeah, man, we'll see which way things go with their stock price. If that'll help, just the announcement of her joining will kick it up at all this week.
If she's coming in as a real businesswoman and she sees the way that place runs, oh man, I don't know.
I look forward to the new character debuting on Master Shoot Theater, the luchador Etsy, or maybe she's a hot new diva named Etsy.
It might be a real thing. Who knows?
People love Master Shoot Theater this week. Russo TWC on Patreon. You guys definitely just a fun, a lot more fun than some of the heavy shit we had to discuss lately. And Conspiracy Horseman was a good time last night. Even though we were a little quick-tongued, we had a great time with Greg Miller, Vince Russo's nephew, on talking Ghislaine Maxwell capture, adrenochrome, and the fight we've been fighting against the power elite pedophiles for a long time as independent media people, and where we're going to go next. I mean, a lot of great ideas for shows last night too. Appreciate everybody at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman growing, more and more for these watch-alongs that when I got to do the SmackDown self-help group, I think we had like 45 in there the other night. It was crazy, man. So everybody here getting the kayfabe signal through Twitch and through Twitter, joining us this morning to get through your days. Appreciate that. Stay cool, stay hydrated wherever you are. It's going to be hotter than hell. I know where I am, man. Stevie, I may do a workout later. We'll see how much I got left in the tank or depends what hate mail messages come in today that drive me nuts in order to work out an extra 2 hours. So what do you got going down, bro?
Well, after this, I'll probably end up, I got a shotgun mic from Saramonic that I want to test out with Switcher Studios. So I might test it out later today. We just put up the 1-year review on my sauna. So I know you're voluntarily stepping into the heat, but I got the infrared sauna from, Sunstream Sauna. It's been about a year. Really happy with it. A few people have actually used the affiliate link too, so that's great. And also just, it's hot here, but not quite as hot as what you have going on. It's weird. It's funny it's weird. I'm trying to we work so much and we do whatever we're doing. It's trying to now compartmentalize that work. Obviously I got to clip the stuff for Russo, and I make that a morning routine, which doesn't take that long, but we sort of find ourselves, and I know you do the same thing, you string along and you find yourself in 14, 18-hour days. And what I want to do is I wake up early enough to where I could try to be a little bit more efficient with what I'm doing and things like that. Mm-hmm. And looking at our stuff for Stevie Richards Fitness, of course, you can go there for the Resistance Band training programs. Also, ForceUSA.com, Stevie5, DiamondbackFitness.com, Stevie5 as well. One thing I'm going to probably do is reintroduce the water workout, since I'm, the government is allowing me to get into a pool now. Thank you for that, government. Mm-hmm. And I'll reintroduce some of that stuff. And people have wanted the yoga workouts to come back. Yeah. So once Rode sends out they're sending me a headset mic, that'll make things a lot easier for workout videos as well. And just trying. One thing I've wanted to do, and it's the Stream of Consciousness show, it seems to be, one thing I've always wanted to do for the past, 40 years is learn how to play the piano. And I've been looking up a lot of software for learning how to play the piano. So I may reach out to these companies and say, I'm almost 49. I want to learn the piano. I'd love to be able to take your software for 30 days or 3 months and maybe document that on Twitch or YouTube.
Sure.
Of me learning how to do it. It's just interesting stuff. And with the Rodecaster Pro, I can actually plug in the keyboard so you can hear how awful the music sounds. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've broken these fingers so many times. You have too as a wrestler. Breaking your fingers is like, I think only football players have broken their fingers more. There you go. Monkey claw, as we called it with certain wrestlers with neck surgery. I won't say who it was. Monkey claw.
Yeah, dude, you'll just start learning how to play scales, and you'll have to learn how to read music and going from C to C. And that there's only a half step from B flat, and just detaching each hand. You'll learn each hand individually. So C, D, E, E, F, G, and then
I just wonder if my mind works well enough for music.
Oh, I think absolutely it does. As technologically and analytically minded, it does. It's with piano, it's just different because you have to, once you start learning how to play rhythm with your left hand and you play your melody with your right, you're detaching the ability to do both. And reading music, once you start reading both staffs, you have to read bass and treble clef. So you're picking the best and hardest instrument, because once you learn how to do that, you know how to read music fully, and I can help you with any of that type of stuff. But you can practice piano just by drawing the keys on a piece of paper. That's what they used to have us do, in basic class, where if you had to write something out, or you were like, what's a perfect fourth above D, and you're like, fuck, I don't know. You just draw your piano quick, 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's up that. And what's the sharp if there isn't any in the key of C? Yeah. Boom. I'll teach you all the simple tricks, man.
The other one I was naturally, people would probably think, well, you should do that, would have been the drums, because I could put on headphones, have electronic drums. But to me, it's more like piano takes me into the opposite end of, you know what I mean?
It's funny.
I want to fucking do a piano recital like 50. I want to fucking do that shit.
Do it, man. Absolutely. I think you'd be phenomenal.
Go up to these 12-year-olds. I'm going to fucking crush you.
I'll talk to my friend David Cisco, who's a piano prodigy, who I've known my whole life and writes for Broadway and whatnot. And I'll just say, what do you think are best systems real quick? I'll send him a message today. I'd love to see you pick up an instrument. I'd love to pick up guitar. And it's funny you said drums, because that's the other instrument where you have to detach your mind to do two things. Those are pretty much the only two. So it's interesting that you lean towards both of those. I like that. Go to StevieRichardsFitness.com and, get rhythm if you've got the blues, and, get down.
R stands for rhythm.
And, work on it. We'll get that summer body going, because you never know when you might have to face a culture vulture like me in the ring, and I need somebody to carry me. As I get my cardio up stairs to go check in on the King and see what's going on with the bathroom remodel, I'll be back here in just a half hour to do Light the Fuse AEW review with Silvio and MSG, you guys. So if you're looking for more content, we'll be back probably about 27 minutes from now here at twitch.tv/Conspiracy Horseman. No rest for it, Stevie. We're going to keep pushing on. I appreciate you, man. Here.
Same, man.
On the Friday veteran locker room. YOLO.